Never ever arrive late to work on a next generation of flying motorcycles. Or maybe they might just sound like arrive in style on your next bikers meet on a new generation of flying motorcycle. This is possibly how the ads in the future about flying motorcycles might sound like. In this episode of iDiff, let's talk about flying motorcycles and the promises they hold in our lives in the future. The current generation of flying motorcycles that we are trying to develop are possible because of the lightweight materials yet strong materials that we are able to use, and also because of advance in technology with respect to electric motors and even jet propulsion. But in the future, this technology is going to be far more refined and maybe even replaced by something like an anti-gravity engine, but that's yet to see. With the current technology that we have and the advances that we're looking forward, these bikes are going to be much more efficient, much more compact, and they're going to have a very huge practical aspect to our lives. Getting help in remote places like mountains or even dense forests is a nightmare for a person who requires the help, or even for the authorities who are trying to get help to the person in need. In such cases, it's easier to get to these people with choppers or even by jetpack. Gravity Industries, who's been developing a jetpack, tried this. They scaled up a mountain in record time, that's in minutes, where conventional methods like climbing up the mountain or even getting there by helicopters would take a minimum of an hour. With the jetpack, the limitation is the pilot has to first suit up, then carry the medical supplies, which is again, there's a payload limit on it, and then get to the person, then stabilize the person. But in the future, the medical team just has to hop on their flying motorcycles, switch it on and take off because it will already be packed with gear, and any bare essentials that they need, they'll take a matter of seconds to just put them on them. These times cannot be beaten by anything else unless you can teleport the person. But that's another technology that probably we'll discuss sometime in the next episode. Currently on the front lines, we have small unmanned vehicles or small alien drones which go into the battlefield, gather information and send it back to the command center. There is a slight delay here because the information is sent, and then if there is a response that is required, the strike team has to travel the distance and meet the objective. But if you have a flying motorcycle with stealth capabilities, you have people who can monitor this area, spy on the enemy and deploy if required. So that response is going to be much more faster. Also, with the sort of automation that we are looking in the future, if there's an injured soldier, he can just call out for flying motorcycle off his wrist. The flying motorcycle will reach his place with tactical support and medical support and even fly him out. Flying motorcycles are also going to come in handy for the Navy. The Navy SEALs or Special Forces will be able to scale or invade a hostile vessel even without alerting the enemy. With respect to the Army, these flying motorcycles can directly be dropped off from aircraft, giving them extended range and higher capabilities. Now, can you imagine the city of Mumbai in the future? With the ever-growing population and traffic, it's gonna get even more tougher. And to monitor a huge population in such areas is a challenge for local policemen. With flying motorcycles, policemen will be able to reach the remotest corners of the city at record-breaking times. So the response times is gonna be great. It's gonna be even easier for them to keep track of people. For instance, the policeman can get off his flying motorcycle, he'll be inspecting the crime scene there, while the flying motorcycle can lift itself up in the air and provide a bird's eye view of the crime scene and also monitor the area around. But if you're saying that jetpacks is a better idea for policemen, then you should watch the fight scene between Tom Cruise and the policeman with jetpacks in the movie Minority Report. Man, he ran around circles with these cops, and that's why I feel that the jetpack might not really be a feasible tool. It's more of making these guys more handicapped. MotoGP or Formula 1 is already a test field for manufacturers to put out and push the technology to the limit. With these flying motorcycles up in the air racing for us from different manufacturers, we will see newer technologies coming to us. Now, when I say newer technologies coming to us, how exactly will us common people who live our day-to-day lives, go to work, come back, will benefit from a flying motorcycle? This one's for us. Me, for instance, I imagine myself waking up in the morning, having my breakfast, picking up my leathers, my helmet, and a backpack which will house a small parachute, and then getting onto my flying motorcycle without having to worry about the kind of traffic maybe Mumbai has then. I'll just get to my office in record time, park my motorcycle, or even just press a button to send it back home to be parked while I finish my work, and then when I have to leave for work, just call for it, get on the bike and get back home. That is possibly how the future is going to look with us people and flying motorcycles in picture. The other problem that this is going to solve is with respect to the parking. Right now we're using streets and basement parkings mostly to park our vehicles, but with flying motorcycles we can possibly even park them on top of the buildings, which is a space which is not really that used, or even on the sides of the building. It will not just save time but also fuel, because these machines will be extremely efficient. But there are already jetpacks there are already flying cars which have been invented and been sold, but there are limitations with this. For instance, with jetpack you have to be a very skilled flyer, because there's nothing else that is protecting you. There's not going to be AI on board which will help you steer. It's completely on you. So you have to train yourself for months possibly when you can ever be able to fly a jetpack. With respect to flying cars, these flying cars are huge. Right now we are already at a space crunch, and with flying cars we'll possibly just add to that space crunch more. A flying motorcycle is a well balance between these two. Flying motorcycle can have an advanced AI on board which will help it pilot itself with minimal or no intervention from the pilot. Also, you can have another passenger with you, or you can have some payload, and it will have better speeds and range as compared to a jetpack, and as compared to a car it will require less space. So the future of flying motorcycles looks more promising, and I for one am excited for it. This is Aurelius from Mashable India signing off.